Right, hello and welcome back to Apex Online Racing Season 8 Race 2 here at Misano World Circuit, brought to you by Driver61, SIMSOK, Elgato and the GT World Challenge. I am Timasorus and joining me in the booth once again is Arcetuthis. He should be joining me in the comms. Let's see if he has unmuted himself. He hasn't. There you go. Just messaging to say you were muted still. Oh, okie dokie. Apologies if anyone else didn't manage to hear all of that. It should have all been working. Okie dokie. Right, well, qualifying is beginning. Obviously, we were keeping a little bit of a look-ski on the free practice beforehand, and I believe it was the gentleman we're on board with now, Busek, who was leading in practice. So whether everybody was holding back a little bit, or is this man, the newbie, is he going to come and dominate this race? Who Okie dokie, we'll have a jump on with him. As soon as the times start rolling in, then we can have a bit of a jump around and see who is out and about. I think it's Verveld. Is he? Oh no, it's not. There's someone else in front of him, but it's not showing up yet on the screen. Yes, it is. It is. Sorry, Merveld is our first man to put in a flying lap this time round. So let's keep a bit of an eye on him and see what he can do. Obviously, do let us know in the chat if there is anybody you want us to keep an eye on. Shout out to anybody, and we'll do our best to get them up. Got a million things going on my screen, so if I don't see it immediately, I do apologise, but we will do our best to get it up as quickly as possible. Oh no, Dollington. That was a bit of a variable task. That was. I thought we were going to get rain right at the end of it as well, but not quite. It managed to stay dry. Oh, sorry. Do apologise. Just breathed in. I don't even know what. Probably a passing moth. What if we? Oh, that's pretty good. He's currently managing to hold off a few people, but we'll keep an eye on it. Wheel up, Mister. I'm here for Door. Let's see what he's doing, shall we? Should we try and find Door in the list? Indeed, I saw he's still. Oh, I saw him. Where's he gone? In typical, as the timings are all rolling in, the timings are moving around like mad. So might have to wait for people to. Might have to wait for people. Uh, I know there was a Turn 1 incident, wasn't there? He ended up going very deep into Turn 1, and then when he rejoined, I think there was already two cars on the circuit. There wasn't much room for him. Um, so not necessarily an intentional. Wouldn't even necessarily a dangerous rejoin. I think it was just a bit of a racing incident, really. Kind of had nowhere to go. There was already two wide. I think at that time that was Matt York and somebody else Because I think Matt York was sat behind there, the two cars, waiting for a chance to strike, and it came then. But I'm sure it was. I might be very wrong. Feel free in the chat. I think that's right. That might have been all a dream, and all of that might be completely wrong. I mean, that tends to be the way it is, isn't it? In qualifying, you think you're good, and you think you've beaten everybody, and then by the time you've gone, oh my god, I'm on pole. You're not on pole anymore. Yeah, pretty much. That's when you go. It's like, look, Mum, I did it. I did it. Right, so just coming through the final couple of turns now. We're on board with Dor. Let's see what time he sets. This will be his first time he sets, so up into 27th place. 28th, immediately dropped to 20th. As I was saying, immediately gets knocked down one. But 28th, that's a pretty good position to start from. Oh yeah, I think just putting in a decent qualifying lap. You think it's a very busy circuit as well. I mean, they're all being pretty respectful and spaced out, but it only takes a small mistake to slow yourself down, and suddenly you've got someone who's, they've got green sectors, and all they want is to go, go, go. And if you're in front of them thinking, oh well, I haven't quite, not down on my time, so I'll keep going. But everyone seems to spread out quite nicely. No. Oh, apparently no game volume. What has gone on there? What has happened there? That should be it now. I do apologise if we've had no game audio up to this point. That is entirely my bad.
I think it was exactly the same problem yesterday in the Tier 1.
I think I've solved it, mainly because there was a big mute button next to desktop audio. So that should have solved it. That is entirely my fault.
Let us know in the chat if that's okay. No, I think Rage had the same problem. I think it was some sort of general setting. I don't think... yeah.
I think it might be picking up the wrong mic as well. I mean, might be picking up the wrong mic as well. Okay, I don't know what... Game volume fixed, thank you. Are the mics working now then? Mike X Papa?
Mike would know, wouldn't he? I mean, it's in his name.
He should know mics. He really should know mics.
He should. Well, just to say about Igor, he came in 9th in Kielami this week. Last week. So, yeah, he's certainly one of our top drivers, and he's been holding that top spot there for the last minute and a bit, which is quite a long time in qualifying.
Okay. Just seen from Gav Jarman. Apparently everything's perfect now. Yeah, that was entirely my fault. Apologies about that.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about Tim, everyone. Thank you, Gav.
Feel free. Mics are working, just sounds a bit off. You know what this is going to be? Now that Arcetuthis has got his lovely new mic, it now makes my mic probably sound absolutely awful. So now I'm going to have to get a new mic.
Yeah, we're going to have to ask the chat, whose mic is it? Is it my mic? Because I've got a brand new microphone, so it could be it, because I might not have plugged it in properly, like a lemon. Or is it Tim?
Or is it me? There's a possibility that it is slightly echoey. There's a possible chance, because I'm just on a headset. But I am looking to invest in something a bit more fancy.
Mike says he's just trolling, so that's fine.
Oh, wow.
No, he's not really. Just putting words in his mouth. But it's fine. We'll continue on.
Pitchick. Let's take a poll.
My pick from pre-quali. Pitchick has
I've just had a big freeze. What's gone on there? Ooh, apologies. Something just made that freeze up quite a lot. Apologies for anyone watching if that appeared on the stream.
So Pitchick, absent from Kielami, relatively... well, a newcomer to us now in this second race, throwing down the gauntlet to everybody else, saying, I've been away, but I'm back, with a 132.7.
Oh, confirmed, it's me. It's me, apparently. I'm the problem. I'm the mic man that's not good enough. That's a shame.
Tim, don't do it to yourself.
You know, I'm gonna cry now. I am gonna cry. It's.
Oh.
Are we still all right? I heard an oh.
Yeah, you think you're okay now?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, all good. Sorry about that.
Fine.
I just had to quickly close a few bits and pieces.
So, Pitchik, Ampol, Igor Murdasov in second. Jonathan Watts, we haven't really given Jonathan a lot of love, but obviously doing fantastic to be in third, outside of the top 10 in Kialami. So, yeah, we could be seeing a BOP and car matching track situation here, Tim, where, you know, a lot of these cars that were epic around Kialami aren't quite so, and, of course, vice versa as well.
Yeah, I mean, quite possibly. I mean, they're two very, very different circuits, I would say. Kailami, I would say, is a lot more sort of fast and flowing. And I would definitely say that this is a lot more sort of technical, especially going through Sector 1. It's a bit of a nasty circuit. I'm not massively
really like
keen on it personally.
No, no way.
I'm not particularly quick here. I'm not particularly quick anywhere, but I am certainly not particularly quick here. So apologies.
Yeah,
I will not.
I'm missing these races in my tier 10 group, so I'm not too sorry about this one. My track record is literally not great here.
That's fair enough. This is the only, like I said last week, this is the only downside of doing commentary for Apex Online Racing. It means I can't race with Apex Online
true.
Racing. So, and it seems like a great community.
It's an opportunity for me to not embarrass myself for the first 4 races of the season, but you know, I was going to try and improve on my 15th of last season. But I'll be swapping out for Cardinal later this season, so I'll give it a bit of a go at the halfway point once we've had the break. So I'll be sorry to leave you in the box, Tim.
Well, you know, I'll be on my own, probably crying.
You'll get over it.
You know, it'll be alright. Cardinal's got a lovely voice on him, so.
He does.
And if anyone watched his stint, I think it was just over 2 hours actually. He did in the 9 hours
opening stint, yeah.
It was the opening stint, which is always a bit mad and frantic, especially when you've got sort of Donington, which is a pretty intensive circuit. And all those lads, it was a 9-hour race, but it has to be said they were treating it like it was a 20-minute sprint. They were
no hold. At the end, yeah.
Well, I think what was it, 0.2 of a second between first and second. So after 9 hours of racing, it came down to that. Obviously, me and Rage were doing the final stint in the comms box, and Rage was very, very excited. So, as we said,
I was surprised anyone could be that lively after a 9-hour commentary, but if anyone can, it was Rage. Just looking, sorry, at Matti Laukkanen, who was way back in 30th in Kialami, is now pushing 4th on the grid at the moment, 2nd row. So, you know, I think we could be seeing the Ferraris maybe in this race having a bit of something to say to everyone.
Quite possibly.
Certainly McLarens.
I mean, it was a bit. Couldn't even speak. Didn't get any words out then at all. Van der Velde up on pole now. He's in a McLaren. Obviously, 2nd place currently is the Bentley. Then we've got another McLaren. Then what is that? That's number 54. Laukkanen is a Ferrari. Then an AMG Mercedes. So a bit the top 5's a decent mix of mid and front engine cars. It's quite a decent little pack there.
We're at the business end now as well, with only a minute and 20 left for the end of qualifying. So it looks like Laukkanen might be one of the last to try and improve. Depends who's further back. Have a look down. So need to finish up these laps and have a chance for one more if they can.
Just trying to look now at who's going to be able to get it in. But with a minute left, you've got a reasonable chance, as long as you're sort of...
Van der Velde's back in the pits, so he won't be making any further attempt to better his pole.
Nope. Let's try and find our pole man from last time, which was Renoir. Oh, who's that? Laukkanen's just teleported back to the pits. Oh, the camera having a bit of a wobbly there. Let's try and find Renoir. How far down the time?
He was down in around 30th in practice.
He's
maybe around about where he is.
Oh, well, he's in the pit. And he's in 39th. He is at the back of the
39th.
grid. So I'm not sure what's gone on there. I mean, I don't know if...
Is it just not a Lamborghini track? I mean...
I'm trying to think,
who
yeah.
knows?
Actually, to be fair, I can't see any Lamborghinis... Oh, do apologise for that. Any higher than him.
So we're running out of qualifying time now. We've got red on the clock, and it looks like Pitchick was able to just get out. He's in turn 2 or 3 now, just come around the hairpin.
Okay.
So he'll get another chance. Igor's back in the pits. Nogueira looks like he's on... No, looks like he's finished, actually.
No, Nogueira's out. He's just going into Sector 2. In the Bentley.
Yep.
So he's still out. I think he might even be our last man on the circuit. I can't see any cars. Oh no, there's one more behind him, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which, yeah, like you said, that might be Pitchick. Is that Pitchick?
His distinctive Bentley.
No, it's not. Who is that? I can't see the numbers above their head at this moment in time, so I'm not entirely sure.
Pitchick is 2 100ths up at the minute, which isn't a lot.
It's enough, though.
But
That's
it's
enough
something.
to put him on
It's
par, isn't it?
something.
If it's 2 100s, because he's 0.012 behind. So if you can hold it together, which uses every last inch of curb there, coming through the final turn.
Oh, and I think he's not got enough. Pretty close. Oh!
No, he doesn't. Not quite.
694 versus 682. So Pitchick, front row, second place. Hell of an effort, but wow, Andy van der Velde just holding on there.
Right. So letting the last couple of cars run across the line. Well, actually, no, that's it. That's the end of the session, isn't it, on that bit?
Looks like.
Right, so, predictions. What have you got for me?
I like my guy, Pitchick. He's a dark horse. I don't think he was... he was, I think, in Tier 1 last season. And had done... He came in towards the back end of Tier 1, but anyone from Tier 1 is a force to be reckoned, obviously. So, yeah, he was 30th in Tier 1 last season, but missed quite a lot of the races. So, I think dark horse is the right word. He's somebody we haven't seen a lot of, but obviously clearly has a lot of pace. So, got a bit of money on him, actually.
Okie dokie. Well, that's certainly someone to be keeping a bit of an eye out for, then. Right, so let's have a quick run through the... Can we get a decent look at all these cars? Not really. No, we can't. We can't look at them individually quite yet because they're not rolling. But so on pole we have Van der Velde in the number 58 McLaren, then Pitchick in the 141 Bentley in second, Murdazov in the number 25 McLaren in third, and Nugeri in the 107 Bentley. So that's there's a lot of Bentleys appeared at the top of this list. Number 14.
Yeah.
Another Bentley, Muscat. He's in 5th position. 6th is another Bentley, number 115, Favre. And then number 7 is Lukanen in the number 54 Ferrari. Watts is in 8th position in the 77 AMG Mercedes. 9th is Buczek in the 64 Ferrari. And then rounding up the top 10 is Merveld in the 29 McLaren. And I'm saying, Merveld was at the top for quite a while, wasn't he? He was a first.
Yeah, he was.
He held on for quite a long time, and I think looking at it, maybe it takes the Bentleys a little bit longer to get temp in their tyres.
Maybe. I mean, he was very good in practice, Meerveld. Do you want to do the next 10?
Yeah, go for it.
So, Vince van Meerveld in 10, as we said. Diego Rodriguez, 111 in 11th, fittingly. Matt Whitburn in 12th. Mark Bastida in 13th with his Bentley, and also it's car number 13. Alexander Shinov in 14. Vency Rachinov in 15th. Stefan Mons brings up 16th. Alexei Shelbanov is in 17th. Nikita Bokorditsky is in 18th. Arkaitz Rodriguez, who did excellently in Kyalami, I think was 3rd overall. He's in 19th this time around. And we have Vincenzo Srizze in 20th.
Yeah, why that is showing up slightly different on my screen. 20th on the screen is saying Soris, but then 20th. Oh, Vincenzo Soris. Oh, it's just I'm a muppet. I'm just a muppet. Ah, dearie me. Right, so let's go in from 23rd, 21st, 23rd. That's a new one. Grunwald in 21st place. Then Cadil in 22nd. Voss in 23rd. Fernandez in 24th. Fang all the way down in 25th. Apostolacat. Oh, sorry. Apostolakis. There we go. I do apologise. It took a little bit of time to read that one. Down in 26th. Michu. Did we say Michu or Michau? I've forgotten what we said.
Michaud.
Michaud, that was the one. Down in 27th. 28th place is Steinhaber, who obviously, I think he came second last time, didn't he?
You did. So, we had a chat with him at the end.
We did. We had a good old chinwag with him, and he did really well. Then we've got 29th is Ivano. 30th is Yaroboski. 31st is McLeod, and 32nd is Cowley. I'm going to come up... Oh, there should be more on that list, shouldn't there? Yes, there is. I was thinking to myself, where has everybody gone? There's people...
Yeah, we're just rounding off with Irish Jim Petro, Matt York on 35th, then followed by Climbs, Navarro, coordinator Dor, and the winner of last week's race, Renoir. So the whole grid is flipped upside down, Tim.
Oh, Matt York.
More or less.
It's saying out next to his name.
Right.
So let's
Might
see.
Have had an issue.
Let's see if he actually rolls. He is still appearing on the grid, but in my streaming stuff, he says out. That normally means he's on an out lap. So, is he going to be starting from the pit, possibly? You thought he would have been...
Something's happening. He's moving.
He's moving. Okay, so that might just be software on my end, just deciding to throw a bit of a wobbly.
No, it said it on mine too, but sorry, Matt fans, for that heart attack, but he looks to be okay.
You could feel the YouTube rumbling in its bones, couldn't you? You could feel his fans furious with us.
Okay, so warm-up lap, full lap again. I'm going to keep a little eye at the back for any shenanigans, Tim, if you want to look front.
Yep, no worries. Okay, currently I'm on board, well, in helicopter cam to try and get a bit of a view of everything, but with Van der Velde, and we'll try and watch that lead pack through the first sector. It's going to be a little bit messy, I imagine. It's very, very difficult to stay clean in that first turn. It's a bit unfair, really.
First, second turns are horrible.
It's a bit unfair, really, isn't it? You've got that starting straight, everyone absolutely hammers it, and then everyone's hard on the brakes. And it's just turn after turn after turn. So
very clean last week, though, unlike Tier 1. So Tier 2, really, one of the cleaner tiers, and a lot of respect shown between the drivers. So let's see if we can see more of the same this time around.
Hopefully. God, I've got to say, this helicopter shot is amazing. Look, the cars are nearly at the end of the straight, and they're still pouring round the corner at the far end of it. So there's a hell of a lot of cars here today. Just before we start racing, just having a quick look at the chat. Studio 168 got one driver that can't connect. Too bad. That is a shame. Do you know which driver that was? Because that's
Might be Ryan. Seems unusual that he'd be at the back.
That's good.
I think they're going.
What, racing?
Yep.
They shouldn't be.
Oh, no, I'm just watching people go incredibly fast because they're right at the back of the grid.
Yeah, I think
I'll
people
go back in my box now.
That's right. Yeah, they're still in Sector 3. They've still got another turn to go. They're stacking up now, side by side, but they're not quite there yet. And the other one
I get my coat.
That's all right. You were looking at the back. It's understandable. Gav Jarman. I've never played Assetto. I normally play Need for Speed with my girlfriend. Fair enough. Bit of a different game, but I would say definitely worth a go if you can get your hands on it. It's definitely worth a bit of a play. Right, here we go. Final run to the line now. So keeping an eye on Van der Velde for this first bit. That's it. Lights are green. Oh, there's people still coming around that final turn. A couple of people 3 wide, a bit further back in the pack. Oh, bit of a nudge there, I think, from Pidgic. Is everyone going to make it through?
Very clean at the back still.
It's looking good. They are all 3 wide back there, though. And Van der Velde already breaking away. Pidgic dropping back now into 4th position. Looks up the inside, can't get a position back. He's now had to slot back into 4th. And I think it's Muscat. Oh, the timing board's having a bit of a wobbly.
Oh, and we've got a spin at the back.
Oh dear.
Just trying to find out who that was. It was the orange car.
Just
a few people going wide on the straight there as well. I'll just check back in with you on that.
Okie dokie, no worries. I'm just keeping a bit of an eye on these leaders. Van der Velde looks like he is really starting to pull away though, making a bit of a move. So it's McLaren, and then it is Bentley. So an absolute army of boats. An armada, you might even say. But Van der Velde already pulling away. He's got half a second on Merdzov, and neither of them are really defending. I don't know whether just that bit of clean air. And actually, that lead pack of 4 cars is starting to try and break away a little bit. Oh, a couple of people going wide towards the end of the straight. Oh, I think we've got a couple of people off. Who was that?
Yeah, we've got McLeod is off. He was wide then on that last turn, and he's rejoined relatively safely, so he's back in, but lost a ton of places.
Okie dokie. Let's see if we can jump back with some of these guys. Let's jump back to 18th place. This is Cadil, right in the middle of it, and being chased down by Voss. So it'll be interesting to see if Voss can make a move. He goes to the left. He can't make a move there. Oh, they're stacking up quickly here, aren't they, through these turns?
And it was Fang who had that spin on lap 1
in
the orange
the
Mercedes.
Yeah, orange AMG. That is a shame. He had a couple of issues last. Oh gosh, we've had a bit of a shunt. Who was that? Oh, they're trying to recover. Oh dear. Who was that? Was that Cowley? No, it wasn't. Had a couple of come-ins together at the end of Sector 1 there, and then an unfortunate Ferrari, while trying to be evasive, ended up getting clipped as well.
He's lead 4 now, pulling away a little bit. Bit of a gap between Pitchick and Favre. So, see if these boys' pace stretches that out a bit further with these next few laps.
Oh, I actually think the Ferrari that got tagged slightly was Yarabowski. I think it was him. So he's now back in 26th position. And he's being... Oh, is he going to get past? We've got Dorr trying to make a move as well. So this is obviously... Oh, yes, and actually, there we go. Ivano makes it past. The Aston having slightly superior legs there. And he makes it stick as well. Absolutely brilliant move down there. Managed to just get a slightly better run through that kink on the straight. And was absolutely flying away. So I'm back on board with the leading 4 cars briefly. Van der Velde not being able to pull away much further, it's got to be said.
The gap is opening up though between Pitchick and Favre, I can see. We're at 1.5 now, but these guys are a little train of their own at the front.
Yeah, I think they've managed to just keep themselves out of trouble and keep going. Be interesting to see, like we saw in qualifying, if after a couple of laps those Bentleys sort of seem to come to life a little bit more. But let's go on with Nogueira, who's currently running in 3rd place. As they obviously on lap 1, we saw Pitchick drop back down from 2nd to 4th. Sort of got muscled out a little bit on those first couple of corners. Very respectful muscling, but muscling nonetheless.
Elbows out.
It was very much elbows out. But now Van der Velde is under attack from Merdzov, and I think we're actually going to see a move here. Are we going to see a move?
Have a little
yes.
look there. Ooh,
oh no, they've clipped.
There, disaster.
They've touched. Yeah. Oh dear, and that's the leaders.
Oh god.
Oh, get on your brakes, Merdzov. There we go. He manages to keep it out of trouble and doesn't take any more damage. Van der Velde also rejoined. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's got to be 13th, 14th place. Oof. Runs a lot.
I think that was all Murderslov as well. He just came in and touched the left-hand side of the lead car, and
yeah, it wasn't much of a touch, but it was a very high-speed corner. You think your tyres are fully loaded at that point.
We've had someone coming out of the pit there as well, I've just noticed.
Okay, just had someone in the chat as well saying, can we go on board with Whitburn? Yeah, we can have a look. Let's see. So he's running back in 8th. Oh, and actually trying to make a move on Merveld. So you wanted to go on board with him. So looking forward.
Quick update for you.
Yep.
Ivanov Irish and Rodriguez all in the pit. Irish, well-established name, and Rodriguez as well, who did so well. Struggling obviously with damage in that first lap.
That's a real shame.
First few laps.
A real shame. I said they were a fairly prominent force in the previous round at Kailami, so it's a shame to see them having issues lap 1. But there's an hour to go. There's plenty of time to make a few positions back. You know, we've seen stranger things, I'm sure, over time, when you've seen racers come all the way back. But if they got the mandatory pit stops done, as long as they can manage the tyres and they've got enough, well, you can't refuel, so as long as they can manage tyres, they're not at a massive disadvantage. Because as long as they've got the mandatory done,
it's doable.
It is doable. Yeah. It can be a bit difficult towards the end of the race, especially if you've been pushing really hard, but it is doable. So
unfortunately, though, if you're in the pit, that probably meant that you just crashed a bit, so you've lost quite a bit of time there. And Michaud, one of those pitters as well, I can see. Surprising to see Fang not part of that. He must have probably just spun in that first lap rather than actually hit anyone that badly.
Quite possibly. Oh, still on board with Whitburn, who has got Buzek right behind him in the Ferrari, and he's not having to go defensive, but he's not close enough to go on the attack on Verveld either, so let's see what he can do. This group in front of him, so this would be the second group of cars. Oh, there's someone going wide there. Who is that going off to the side? Let's jump. I think that was, I want to say Watts. Yeah, they're 3 wide. Oh, gosh. And number 54 sneaks up the inside. Lukanen manages to get through. It also looks like, is that Merveld? Yeah, Merveld, number 20, has managed to come back a fair bit. He is under attack as well, and he's lost out. This pack of cars is absolutely chock-a-block. We're going to go helicam, so we can have a bit of a better look back. So
yeah, top 3 have got a big space between them and a big gap between them and this, well, between each other and this following pack. And this is where all the chaos is happening. It's actually quite serene at the front of the race at the moment.
Always the way, isn't it? They break free of the pack, and then, oh, big move up the inside there by, what Ferrari is that? I want to say it was, oh, that's going to be Borgoditsky. Although I think he's lost the position again. So, keeping an eye on Merveld, who again is chasing after the back of Whitburn now. So, fairly tight, and there's someone a bit further back. Who is that? Oh, moves being made at the back. Who was that? That is Van der Velde going through on Shabalanov.
Grunwald pitting as well, just FYI.
Okay. Ooh, and it looks like he's trying to go around the outside. Doesn't work. Loses a bit of pace there. Got to be said, all these lads are working harder than a fat lad's set of arteries. They are absolutely giving it their all.
Door in the pits too. Must have had an issue.
Yeah, he didn't do great in qualifying. He would have been at the back of the pack. Oh, okay, here we go. So we've now got, who is this? It's Shabalanov. Yeah, number 727. Yeah, trying to go around the outside of. Now, what car is that? Because that's not showing up on my list. Is that a back marker?
They're falling back. That's...
Yeah, I don't know who that is, because it's an Aston Martin, but it's not showing up on the list, so it must be someone a bit further back. So I wonder if they are a back marker, because they haven't really put up any kind of defence. But they're not showing up. Oh! Borganowski trying to go around the outside. Not quite able to. Coming into the final turn, I believe. Oh no, there's a big spin in front of him. He's got nowhere to go to try and avoid it. Manages to get back on circuit, but then he's been overtaken a few times there.
Yeah, it's Butchek who's off there in the Ferrari.
Yeah.
And he's trying to rejoin, but it's not safe. Oh, it's awkward.
It's not a nice spot, and there's nothing worse than sitting there watching yourself plummet down the list, but...
And he's in 25th now.
Oh, and Borganowski makes a collision. Oh no, and it's all gone pear-shaped to the background. Who was that? There was a bit of an incident there. I think we're probably going to see a couple of incident reports there. It's got to be said.
Can't keep up, Tim. There's so much action.
I can't. It's all gone a bit mad, hasn't it? As they, but over the space of this lap, Borganowski has first of all just manages to avoid one incident, and then while going up the inside of someone, sort of may have been a slight party to another incident that happened. Not necessarily intentional, but it was an incident nonetheless, and sadly that McLaren obviously spun off. Even with the brakes anchored on, didn't quite manage to get himself stopped. So just quickly jumped on with our leader Nageri, who has pulled out a 1.4 second lead over Pichik.
How calm it is out here at the front, Tim, with the Pichik, Muscat having a similar sort of gap in between them. It's just Laukkanen downwards where there's chaos ensuing.
It's just a lovely, lovely day to go yachting, isn't it, for these two boys?
In the Adriatic. Lovely.
In fact, no, look, Muscat. That's another Bentley up into third place, and he is really pulling away from Laukkanen in fourth. So I think the Bentleys, once they've had a few laps to get the tyres in, they do appear to be doing pretty well. They're on their 7th lap now, which, yeah, is probably about right for the amount of maximum laps you'd get in during qualifying on a 15-minute session. You think once you've done your out lap and before you run out of fuel, probably 7 is about as much as you could get. So I wonder if they take a little bit longer to get the tyre pressures and temps up, because of the top 5, 4 of them are Bentleys, and there's Laukkanen, who is really...
check in the pit now, sorry, after that spin.
No, that's alright.
So obviously had some damage.
Although we might be about to see a change. I think Favre is about to drop down. He's got Watts and Whitburn all over him. Ooh,
oh,
bit of a bump.
touch.
Bit of a bump. Has he managed to hold that slide? Yes, he has. Good lord, that was an amazing catch. You
Well
could see his front wheels locking up as he was desperately trying to get the car stopped before the turn. Amazingly well held. That was, and I think he's on the attack already. Yeah, he's already trying to go around the outside of. I think it's is that Van der Velde he's trying to go around outside of? Oh no, he's been clipped. He's off. He's off. He's managed to stay out of the barriers. And it looks like a pretty decent place to rejoin. Luckily, he's managed to get himself...
Racing Angry, it looks like. That was Van Meerveld in the lovely golf colours. But yes, Racing Angry, I think there.
Yeah, I think there might be a little bit of a desperate attempt to get back up to speed quickly. Actually, going to jump back on board with Whitburn, who is on the back of Watts. And I think we keep seeing Watts pulling away and starting to go on the attack. And then suddenly sort of starts plummeting back down again. Because obviously, he did get past... he got past Favre, didn't he? Who was up in 5th place at the moment. Oh, so he's up there. He's reasonably doing pretty good.
Supposed to be a McLaren track. I think from Tier 1 yesterday. There was a big McLaren coming together. If I'm not mistaken, I seem to remember it. This was a dream. So, you know, Whitburn may have the advantage here and trying to reel these guys in.
Quite possibly. I mean, it's good to see this is the... Is that the only Mercedes on the grid of what? Oh no, we've got Fang as well in the Mercedes. But this Mercedes is bringing the good fight, to be honest, all the way up the front. Well, I say all the way up the front. He is in 5th, but that's a big effort compared to...
It's pretty front.
It's pretty front. It's in the top 10. I mean, I'd be pleased with anything in the top 30. So, right, these guys seem to have split up a smidgen. So let's see what's going on back here. Jump on board with Voss. So this is 15th place, and he has got Cadil and Fernandez all over the back of him. Oh, it looked like Cadil was possibly going to make a move up the... Oh no, that's not Cadil, is it? Who is that then? That's number 72. A Bentley. Bentley number 72. Can we see Bentley number 72? Who is that? So that's... Who's that?
I think we got a retirement. I think Dorr is out. He's been in the pit for quite a while.
That is a...
We might see Diego Rodriguez as well as also withdrawing from this race. He's been there quite a while unless he's badly damaged.
Well, that is a bit of a shame if that is the case. I'm trying to see if there's anyone here that we can't that's completely missing off the list. I'm trying to have a quick look and see where Renoir is. Renoir, he's got himself up to 27th, so he's making progress. He's
probably
gained
just by sticking on the track.
Pretty much. There's been a lot of scrabbling, hasn't there? Not the prettiest in places. Also, quite nice to see that there is a Nissan out on track. I think that's Irish, isn't it? Is that Irish? Car number 114. So yes, it is Irish. So he's running on track right behind Renoir, but he's not in 34th position, is he? Yes, he is. What's going on with my timing screen? Why is everybody showing up so weirdly? On my timing screen, I've got Renoir in 27th, and then on this timing screen, I've got him...
I think it's because everyone's flying all over the place, Tim.
Quite possibly. I just don't think...
Up and down all over.
I think the software's having a bit of a wobble.
Yeah. Looks like the main battle really is still back with Watson, Whitburn, and Van Meerveld. They've got their own little group of 3 here, and they're tussling for what is 5th place, with Lukanen, Muscat, Pitchik, and Gira out on their own, doing their own little races with their own little lovely gaps.
Well, yeah, it had to be said that obviously Merveld did really well in qualifying and sort of tumbled back down after the 2 McLarens got together early in the race. So he'll be pretty keen to get back up through the grid. But to his credit, he's doing it pretty cleanly. He hasn't been overly aggressive. As we saw a little minute ago, you lose positions sometimes. You've just got to accept it and try and come back from it without being too aggressive. So Whitburn is really giving Watts pressure though, isn't he? Especially in the turns, he gets right up on the back of him. There we go, really close. And then the Mercedes just manages to stretch its legs and just starts to pull away.
So we can add Evangelos Apostikasis to the retirements. That's Rodriguez, Dor, and Apostikatis all out in the pit.
Oh, that is a real shame. Always sad to see guys go. Oh, bit of a mistake from Whitburn there. Went really deep, and that has allowed Merveld to take a position away from him. So Whitburn down to 7th place now. I think he just got to the end of the straight and was just desperately trying to break as late as possible. Actually, looking at the battle slightly further back from these guys as well is looking pretty good. Who's that? This is Shalobanov. So car number 727 on the back of Shinov. Lots and lots of black liveries, lots of dark liveries. Do you always go for a dark livery, or do you always go for something a bit more colourful?
I always go for memes, basically. Anime girls. Shouldn't say that out loud, really.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, no, tasteful ones. Tasteful ones.
Oh, well, in that case, there's something wrong with that.
The Bovril car was good. The Ginster's car was good in endurance. Enjoyed those guys. But usually I just end up sticking memes all over my car.
I usually go for something quite bright and white. Oh, big dive up the inside there from Shalom.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there with Bogoditsky.
Just obviously got on the brakes a lot earlier and just left the door wide open for him. Whether or not he's thinking, there's 40 minutes left of this race, you're quicker than me, it's not worth the risk. Which does happen, you do see it. You think it's not like a 9-hour race where you've got time to, if you have a little nudge, you can make your time back up, you can sort of battle your way back up through. If you make a mistake here, it's hard work. Everybody's absolutely going for it. So you've had 19 minutes of racing now. So everyone's definitely settled in. They know the car. Sort of a decent chunk of the field still hasn't done their pit, but I think we'll probably start seeing them roll in probably in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, that window's open about now, isn't it?
It really depends whether or not you want to go for an early pit. Oh, change at the front. Pitchik. Oh no, wait, who are they passing? There's somebody... There you go. I thought Nagiri was under attack, but it's a back marker. It is a back marker.
Nagera doing 133.3s, and just looking down the board, that's at least, I'm going to say, top 3, if not the fastest laps currently.
That's some serious time. That is some serious times. Oh, people rolling into the pits. Big load of people. Bastida, Yaroboski, Steinhaber and Cadil all in the pits. Just having a quick look at the chat. Head changer. Do you need any DLC to compete in this league? I think you do. Yes, because
It
we've done.
depends on the tracks that come up, doesn't it? You could get
Yes,
lucky and just need 2 out of the 3 or 1 out of the 3, but usually it's 3 out of the 3 to be absolutely sure.
but you should be able to find the track listing for the rest of the series on the
You
Discord.
can work it out from that,
Yeah, you should better keep an eye on it. Obviously, we've done. Who's that? Gav, the game doesn't have any mods. What have we missed in the chat?
I think they may be referring to Assetto Corsa, which is heavily modded. But
Yes! It's not worth
Assetto
playing
Corsa
unless you mod it.
Competizione doesn't really have any mods, it just has the official packs. And apart from scribbling your own anime girls on cars, there isn't really much that can be modded.
No, not a massive amount you can do.
There's always Crew Chief.
There is, which is good. Crew Chief is definitely worth using. 100%. It's much better than the in-game Crew Chief. Addy, you made a mistake. He's retracted his comment. No worries. There's no shame. No shame whatsoever. Just having a quick look here.
We're all here.
Raphael Alves. Hello, guys. We support our RT93 esports drivers, Steve Favre, and Gregor Mitchhouse. Right, let's try and find those guys quickly, shall we? So, I'm sure we...
I think Favre might have had an early pit, although I could be wrong.
Let's have a
I know
look.
he's up in 12th, so he must be doing pretty well. He's in the pits, I believe, now.
He is, right, so we won't look at him quite yet. Who we got? Gregor Mitchhouse.
He'll come out about 20th, probably.
Have you seen Mitchhouse?
Might not be here today. I haven't seen him in the running. I think he's in our driver list, but maybe not here.
See him currently.
Might be different tier.
Quite possibly. Yeah, unless he's in tier 2, we're not going to see him. Unless maybe they're doing a sneaky driver swap that I don't know about, which I don't think you're meant to.
Don't even joke.
Van Veerd, Mirveld into the pits. So he was running in, I think, 6th place, and he's jumped in. What we will do is we will jump on board with Favre. We'll just make sure he's out the pits before we do, because obviously it's not the most exciting watching people just sat in the pits having some tyres virtually changed.
What we do have, though, is Nogueira and Pitchik still haven't pitted. So those guys are staying out and perhaps working on a strategy to don't put as much... Well, they're using this clean air, I imagine, they've not had a lot of problems on the track, unlike everybody else from 4th downwards. So they're probably just going to stay out as long as they can and make use of that clean air and what's left of their tyres. If they're putting in good lap times, and what are they doing? 134.1s for Nogueira and 133.669s. I guess we stay out a bit longer.
Oh, that Favre is still... Oh, who was that going off? Someone's just got a... What car number is that? Nope. Totally wrong place. Someone further up ahead. I think it might be a back marker that's just gone off. They managed to recover, but I think they got a little bit of oversteer coming onto one of the back straights.
And we've got a drive-through, actually, for Ivanov. That can only be for track cutting, so that's a 30-second penalty that he could do well without.
Oh, yeah, that is a shame. He's not going to be happy about that. Oh, I have noticed that, yeah, Dor, I think he did... Well, actually, yeah, a couple of the guys at the back. We've got Rodriguez, Michaud. Oh, God, I just cannot pronounce it. I do apologise so much. Michaud. No? What did we say
Michaud.
It was? Michaud. I said every other variation of it. Yeah. So, Rodriguez, Michaud, Navarro, Apostolakis, and Dor. I think they're all gone, yeah, because they're all on the maximum. They do 9 laps. So... Bit of a shame, they've all dropped.
Lakinen's in now. Keeping an eye on Nogueira and Pitchik, see what they're up to. The gap is down to 1.5 seconds from Nogueira to Pitchik now.
Okay,
so I don't know if something happened.
Oh,
sure,
yes.
they were further apart than that.
Yeah, they are pretty close. I mean, there was a back marker between them, but that wouldn't have affected Nogueira. That you think it would have obviously gone the other way.
I don't think we're going to see the parade that we had last week.
No.
With Renoir.
Oh, massive amount of cars in the pits now. Lukanen, Watts, Borgodowski, Mons, Gian Pintero, Rashinov, oh no, sorry, not Vanderveld, or they've just come out the pits possibly, but there was a massive chunk of guys midfield in.
Nogueira and Pitchik have decided to not pit this lap.
No, they're still going. I mean, like I said, I think the Bentley's doing really quite well on the tyres. Surprising. Muscat's come in though. Muscat's in the pit, so that's third place in. But yeah, Nogueira is losing time, isn't he? He is not.
He is.
And he's now coming up on some back markers.
He's half a second per lap down on the pace of Pitchik at the moment. He's doing 134.3, so Pitchik's doing 33.9. So it just looks like that it's perhaps a mistake for Nogueira to have stayed out that long on those tyres, where Pitchik is, just about right with what he's doing around the circuit right now, and really pulling that in. So that's playing into his hands.
Yeah, I mean, still only 26 minutes of the race done as well, so they're not even halfway through. I mean, if Nogueira's style of driving is killing off tyres to the point where he's losing half a second a lap already, then it doesn't fare well for the second half of the race, really, does it?
I see somebody off as well, and they're trying to rejoin on the big hairpin there at the end, and it's not going well.
Was that one of the white McLaren?
It was.
Yeah, I think he was a back marker. I think he realised he had Nogueira and Pitchik coming up behind him. I saw him go wide. I think he was just accepting his... Oh, Pitchik into the pit.
Mons.
Pitchik has gone in.
It was Mons who'd gone off, yeah. Pitchik is in, you're right, yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah, so I think Mons had just moved out the way, to be brutally honest. I think he'd sort of realised, I'll let the leaders come through. Whitburn into the pits as well now. So really starting to see everybody dive on in. So Shalobanov is in as well. Everybody I click on is coming into the pits as soon as I click on them.
Nogueira's still out. I'm just watching him now, and he's got back markers in front of him. He's doing 134.2s. He's not really improving his position here by staying out. I'm very surprised to see him not come in that time around.
Matt York also staying out, and so is McLeod. And those two guys running in 4th and 5th now. But obviously,
I think the strategy could play well for Whitburn, who's... Oh, he's just coming to the pit.
There you go.
Just coming to the pit.
He's just coming as well. Okie dokie. I just saw that Pitchik is on his exit roll, so apologies, I've got the wrong person on screen. But Matt York currently running up in 2nd place now, followed by McLeod. Let's see what's going on back here. Watts, let's go on board with Watts. Oh, and yes, Watts under attack from Vanderveld and Merveld. In fact, I think Verveld is under attack very much.
In.
Okay, Nogueira's in. Right, if you can keep an eye on that and see where he comes out, see if he can come out in front of Pitchik still.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he can. Merveld, who obviously we saw was one of our front runners, is now running in 11th position.
Pitchik virtual leader at the moment.
You know what's going to happen? Matt York, he's going to get that pole position photo.
He's going to send it to his mum.
Yeah, he's going to do that.
Yeah, race finished.
And then he's done. He can put that as his thumbnail. Pole. Because Matt York and McLeod in now as well. Okay, so everybody is going to have completed their mandatories. Do I feel like
Pitchik's coming around? Just trying to keep an eye on Nogueira. He's still in the pit.
I'm on board with Pitchik now. It's just tabbed up that he's green, Nogueira, on his pit stop.
He's coming around the last bend now, Pitchik, so...
Yeah. Ooh, where is Nogueira? Is he rolling yet? He is,
yeah, I think
but
so.
barely.
Just coming out.
I'm just jumped on board with Nogueira. I think he's going to lose the position, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still in the pit exit at
He has. He's well behind. What on earth happened then? Yeah, he's behind. There's quite a gap as well, isn't there?
Quite a way behind.
So, from somebody that was gaining massively on, he was doing half a second lap quicker. Oh, and Shinov, he gets himself a drive-through penalty. So, whether that was track limits, or something else. Who knows? He might have sped in the pit lane,
Pit lane
possibly.
speeding, maybe.
Yeah, it's very easy, especially the entrance to this. It's quite a if you don't get on the brakes quick enough, you can quite easily overrun.
So it looks like Nogueira has managed to maintain second place.
Yes, he
but,
is. Muscat is in
yeah,
third still.
He's in a fight now. He's in a fight. Well, with him and Muscat. So Pitchick's got quite a bit of clear air in front and behind. Well, don't know about in front. He'll have some back markers to deal with. But a bit of space, 3 seconds to play with to Nogueira. So that strategy of staying out by Nogueira really didn't pay off. That losing half a second a lap and the back markers and everything has really given Pitchick the emphasis to push ahead in his amazing purple Bentley.
I do think that possibly some of that may have been sort of more of a pit stop error. I don't really know what you can get wrong, because you're not refueling. You're only doing a tyre change. So unless he had damage that we didn't know about, but I couldn't see anything that would suggest
it probably was damage, because it did seem longer than the standard 30 seconds.
Yeah, it really did seem like he was in there a long old time, didn't it?
You can switch that off. You can say, don't touch my bonnet, guys, just do my tyres. But I guess he thought he just wanted to get it done, so he had clear aerodynamics to get the most pace he could. But he's going to need them now to cut this 3.4 down.
Yeah, he already had the pace, though, didn't he? It wasn't like he was struggling for pace. It would make sense if he was...
Not to start with, but he was losing it towards the end. And it's just those 3 or 4 laps which did the damage, where he stayed out there that little bit longer.
So, bit of a shame. He's possibly thrown it away there. And yet, to be fair, Muscat is now on the back of him. So, obviously, Muscat pitted earlier. His tyres are fully up to temp and working. Nogueira is only on his... This isn't his out lap anymore. There's only a second lap out, but he's obviously off the pace slightly. So we might see a change for position here, because that gap has come tumbling down. Only 0.4 between them, and even closer.
Touching now, almost, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
It's going to be interesting.
Oh, they are absolutely going for it. In fact, let's have a look.
Mistake there from Nogueira as well, going slightly too wide.
Yeah.
As they come into the final straight. And, yeah, I think this is only going to play into Pitchick's hands as well. If these two guys are battling, then it's going to give him a chance to extend out that 3.5 seconds.
2 very different lines there from Muscat and Nogueira as well. So on the dash of Muscat's car, just loses a little bit in sector 1, but not a massive amount.
Just seeing a repit for Steve Favre, so not one for the fans to celebrate. Must have had some sort of issue or spill.
Nogueira being very brave, going out wide over the sausage curbs there. And I don't know if anybody caught the GT World Challenge. I think it was a sprint series earlier this year, where one of the Porsches went wide and ended up nearly going end over end, where they sort of the back end got kicked up by one of the sausage curbs, and then as soon as it landed, hit another one, and it ended up sliding along on its front bumper for quite a while, completely writing the car off. I believe it was pretty much irreparable. I think the chassis was pretty destroyed after going about 10 foot in the air and then landing twice. But
just looking at the chat, actually, JVR has put an interesting postulation in and suggested that if you miss your pit box and it automatically pulls you back, but only after a period of time, so you can lose 5, 6, 7 seconds just by not getting straight into that red box. So that may have been something that happened as well. Thanks, JVR. Yeah,
that's a really good point. I didn't even think about something like that again. Or if you're doing it where you're manually switching off your engine and starting, that can lose you time as well. I've done it where I've gone to start the car and gone, I haven't switched my ignition back on. And then
you can save time doing that, but you've got to be on the ball.
Yeah, so you can definitely save time, but yeah, again, if you get it wrong, it costs you far more than you could ever possibly gain. So, and I've done it a few times where I've messed up. I think we all have. There's nothing worse than...
I don't believe you.
It's when you stall on a circuit, when you spin and then you don't manage to knock it into first and get yourself moving, or you just completely cut it out and you're backwards and you spin. There's something quite as embarrassing as that. If I know I'm spinning and I'm off the circuit, I will try and knock it into first, and then I usually just gun the throttle and just try and do a burnout in a desperate attempt.
That sounds like something a pro would do, so I think you're all good.
I'm not sure pro. I'm not sure pro's the word I'd use. maybe a desperate child that's very upset that he's spun again.
What's on the attack again, just with Laukinen I'm just looking at now. They're in a little battle of their own for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, so that is Mercedes versus Ferrari. Oh, yes, and he's right at the back of him there, isn't he?
He's been eyeing him up for a while. He might have a little look here down the straight.
Yeah, he's definitely close enough to get the toe.
Mercedes doesn't have the straight line speed that the Ferrari has, but it's that much more stable over curbs and around the corners, so it's not going to happen on the straights for him.
He got really hard on the brakes there. Watts, I think, was massively outpacing Luukkonen at that point. I know, obviously, we said he shouldn't have been outpacing, but he was on the brakes and absolutely squirreling all over the road, desperately trying to hit.
He made me look like a mug.
Instantly did it. I think he was in the toe. He was close enough where he could just hang on to the back of him. But yeah, oh gosh, that was a bit of a high-speed Brown moment. That was definitely a high-speed Brown moment from him. So he's, after that little mistake, he's dropped back ever so slightly.
Things have cooled off a bit with Nogueira and Muscat. There's a bit of a gap opened up to Muscat, so Nogueira obviously enjoying those fresher tyres and a bit more back on the pace with some 1:33.3s, back to his best in terms of lap times.
Yeah.
Which is, I might say, slightly better than Pitchik at the moment. So he is catching him, but only ever so slightly, 0.1 a lap.
Okie dokie. I think he's obviously got ever so slightly fresher tyres. Now that, like we said, they seem to take a bit longer on these Bentleys to heat up. He's probably at his peak tyre performance now. And I imagine that Pitchik is, obviously, he's got a few laps more under his belt. His tyres will be a bit more worn. They're not degraded, but they're not going to be like peak qualifying tyres. But then again, they are running a lot less fuel at this point in the race, so we might start to see some faster laps. I'm jumping back for the battle where it's all 4 McLarens, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. Van der Velde, Sholobanov, Mervend and Whitburn. All 4 of these guys absolutely going for it. It looks actually like Van der Velde's managed to slightly break away. But it's like it's a one-car series back here in for the battle for 6th place.
Yeah.
It's just all McLarens.
I can't get enough of Meerveld's Gulf colours. I mean, I know they're a bit of a trope at the moment because since Monaco, but they look great.
They do look good, don't they? Oh, what was that?
What was that?
That was, I want to say that was
Ferrari.
Was that Luukkonen?
I think it was.
That was Luukkonen, yes. Who was obviously battling with Watts. So has something happened on the final turn onto the straight?
Yeah, I either thought the race was over or something bad happened as he went through there. I think probably the latter.
I mean, it might have either been, I think, it's really hard to say, isn't it? We weren't on board and able to see it at the time. That's a bit of a shame. But typically...
Those guys must have panicked. To see the back of that Ferrari come up very quickly.
He was just stationary. He'd obviously moved all the way over to the left to try and get out the way. My only thought was the Ferrari very skittish on the curbs. If he's come on to the pit straight, he's run a lot of exit curb, and the car's unsettled. It might have fired him over to the left. I'm trying to see if there's any damage to that car anywhere. I can only see the right-hand side at the moment. Show me your left-hand side. Come on, let me see.
Van der Velde currently under a lot of pressure from Sholobanov, who's sniffing around the rear and looking for that opening.
Yes, he is. He's up on the back of Van der Velde now, isn't he? Like, oh yes, he's got up the inside. Brilliant little move. Can he hold on to it? He's on the outside for the next turn. But he manages to hold onto it, and is he going to be able to shut the door? Yes, he is. And actually looking like... not quite able to make a move.
Meerveld smelling blood there, and a slight hit on him by Whitburn, it looks like.
Oh, so yeah, now Whitburn and Merveld, not quite. I thought they were going to be too wide there, but not quite.
And he lost it there. It looks like Van der Velde losing grip, just going around that last little chicane.
Oh yeah,
so that's cost him quite a bit of a gap.
Whitburn got up the inside. Whitburn manages to go up the inside. Can he hold on to it? Just...
oh,
just trying to shut the door on him, and he's just able to do it. Good lord, there's nothing between them. Takes the defensive line over to the left-hand side, but he's right on the inside for that line. Oh.
Sholobanov pulling away at the same time as all this happening.
While these guys are squabbling, I have noticed that Luukkonen, there he is in the back of the shot, so he obviously isn't carrying too much damage. He's obviously still able to keep going. Oh, that was some heart in mouth kind of stuff there through that final sector, wasn't it? That was a little bit,
Absolutely. Yeah. No,
bit
good to see
tight.
you in this McLaren series.
Yes, in the McLaren series. I mean, it's quite strange to see the top is Bentley, 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 AMG, and then McLaren, 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 then 2 Ferraris. They're all bunching up. They're all being friends. Oh no! What happened then? Who was that gone off? That was
That's
Merveld.
Van der Velde.
Van der Velde, yes,
Is
Van der Velde. It is. It's Van der Velde. I didn't see any contact. I think he maybe just outdrove himself because he's gone to the pits.
He was losing traction all that last lap.
Disqualified.
And,
Van der Velde disqualified. So I don't know what happened there, but he is instantly disqualified. So I wonder if...
Can be disqualified for driving the wrong way?
You can be, and I wonder if where he spun and then tried to rejoin the track, rather than going left back onto the circuit where he spun off, if he's then...
Cutting, technically?
Yeah, or if he was already... I'm trying to think if he was already round that hairpin, if he's then over-rotated and gone back off to the grass on the inside, he's then technically heading the wrong direction onto the oncoming traffic coming into the hairpin that he's just completed.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility of that as well. But that's a real shame because that battle was really close. I didn't see any contact, but that's not to say there wasn't.
There was a lot of sketch there with Van Velde, and yeah, I guess he just pushed it a bit too hard. And that's unfortunate if he's been penalised at that severe an extent.
Yeah, that is a real shame, I say, because that definitely wasn't an intentional disqualification, I can't imagine. So, bit of a shame there. But the battle still rages on for 6th place with Whitburn and Merveld now. Whitburn up in 6th.
From the front, sorry. Pitchick and Nagira, the gap's down to 2.3 from about 3.3 a couple of laps ago.
Okie dokie.
Potentially catching about half a second. Yeah, I can see that Pitchick's last lap was 133.8 with Nagira's last lap being a 33.1, so that's 0.7 of a second just in that lap alone. So 17 minutes to go in this race. That would suggest that he's being caught not too long a time.
Yeah, it's definitely it is definitely possible, isn't it, to make moves. I'm just having a bit of a look a bit further back down. Yeah, we've got a couple of guys that have sort of either pitted or... So you're saying Renoir?
I think we've lost Favre. I think we've lost Grunwald. I think
we've lost
Shinov,
everyone
Ivanov,
back
Soritsa.
from 25th, haven't we? I think.
Yeah.
There's a couple of people they're appearing on my timing list, but yeah, I cannot.
Few war wounds out there. Quite a lot of incidents we've seen this race. It's been enjoyable, but yeah, I think people either crashing out or just getting frustrated and putting it in the pit.
I think, as a quick one, I think possibly one of the pit boards has been damaged, because if you look at Shinov and Ivanov, they were in the pits and then they had drive-through penalties come up. So I wonder if it's a case of someone's taken out the pit board coming in a bit quick. Oh, just noticing I'm on board with car number 357, which is Rodrigo's, and he is about to be lapped by the race leaders, so it'll be interesting to see if he notices the thundering Bentleys coming up behind him. He's got all 3 of them reeling him in pretty quickly. He's got blue flags waving. Is he going to notice? He's just far enough away at the moment where he doesn't have to sort of give way, but
ideally within 3 or 4 turns of this he should be, and he's holding that line. That's a bit naughty. There he goes.
No, he moved over and dabbed the brake to give him space. Yeah, nicely done. Don't get too close. I always find when I'm letting someone through, that tends to be... Yeah, that gap's
coming around that same corner.
I think they...
That's 2.1 now.
Let's see if he can get past the back marker a bit quicker. If he can, then that could really do him some good. But if he gets stuck behind, as we just saw a moment ago, then it might not be great. Oh, I've just noticed Steve Favre, who was running in 12th, and obviously we were asked to keep an eye on him earlier. It's saying he is in the pit.
He's a goner.
Yeah, he's gone. That's a shame. So Pichik has made it past. I'm trying to see who is our closest battle now. Even
Bit of
Whitburn
support in
and
the chat for
Merthyr.
Kadil.
Good deal.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely fine. Feel
Our
free
South
to
African
interrupt.
lad from did well in his home race. Well, towards the second half of the home race, really came through and placed very decently, I think, in the end. Fourth, fifth, maybe?
Bruno Cadil, here he is. So currently running in 14th place in the 788. Heavily damaged. Looking at the front of that McLaren
Fifth
is.
he was.
He was fifth. Kalami, was he? Yep.
Mm.
See, if there's any facts you want to know, Arcetuthis is your man.
I love an Excel spreadsheet, you see.
He really does. You get a little bit excited about it. It's a little bit disturbing, but
I
I'll
like
let it
a
slide.
macro.
I will let it slide.
Stats are beautiful.
My partner likes an Excel spreadsheet. She works in health and safety and she loves an Excel spreadsheet.
Tidy, it's organised, it's beautiful. I'm a scientist, so, you know, I appreciate a good Excel spreadsheet. The gap now from Pitchick to Nagera is 1.4, so I think we're about to have the battle for the race in maybe another lap and a half's time.
On board with Gadil still there. He went very wide, manages to control it over the sausages. We're going to move away from him now because I'm slightly worried I am going to end up cursing him. If you can keep an eye on that battle at the front, I'm currently on board with
Will do.
Bastida, who is after the back of Gia Pintero.
That fight for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th has sort of cooled right off now with a bit of gaps in between everybody involved. So
yeah,
not quite as hectic as it was.
I think losing the one car through disqualification. Oh, but it is really heating up for 12th position. I thought we were going to have a bit of a collision there. Don't entirely know how Bastida managed to get the car stopped. But he is all over the back. Alright, this seems like they should probably stay in the same place, because Giampatero in the car number 12 is in 12th place, and Bastida in car number 13 is in 13th place. So you two, you just need to stay there.
Stay there, yeah. Hold those positions, guys. Good luck.
Just looking at JVR in the chat, health and safety, she should like a good clipboard. Yeah, she does like a clipboard.
Bit before my time, clipboards.
To be fair,
an iPad full of Excel spreadsheets I'm more about.
Yeah, that's. I mean, she's got like dual monitors and her own desk and all that kind of thing, and she does it all very fancy. And for most of last year, you know, our kitchen was her office. So
same for a lot of people, I think. Yeah.
The amount of times I was working very different hours to her at the time. And the amount of times I'd walk into the kitchen in my pajamas or just literally in a pair of boxer shorts to go and make a cup of tea, and then suddenly look across and be like, oh, hello, there's someone looking at me. And there's like a Zoom meeting going on.
Sorry to interrupt. Pitchick is up against some back markers. The first of the back markers moved out very handily, very nicely. So it is allowing Nagera to see a lot more of that massive boat of Pitchick's, and he's still got another blue flagger in front of him, and gap now has come down to less than a second, with Pitchick getting a good launch out of this straight. But yeah, this back marker could play into things here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if was that a I was about to say, was that a defensive move from the Nissan? I don't think it was. I think he maybe went to move to the left, then realised, oh no, Pitchick's going to come hammering up the left. I'll dump back over this way quickly. So he has moved out the way, and he's moved out the way for Nagero as well. I think there's a message for you in the chat though.
Tier 10 lads, it's my friend David Rogers from Copper Horse, who does very interesting things with cyber attacks on cars, as cars are so advanced these days. He's using this race series to simulate what would happen if somebody decided to hack your car and all of a sudden cut your brakes or do anything else to the car. So that's what he says he's doing. I think he's just doing it for fun. But yeah, one of my tier 10 boys there.
Well, you got a yeet for the win, haven't you?
Yeah.
But, you know, I did find it quite funny the other day. Apparently yeet is not cool anymore.
isn't it?
No, apparently it's not cool anymore. I was chatting
I
with
don't
one.
think I ever said it, so I'm probably all right.
I've only ever really sort of said it. Well, to be honest, it started off as saying it sort of ironically, and now every once in a while, if I am the other end of the room and I want to throw something into the bin, I will yell yeet and try and get it in the bin. But yeah, apparently,
I think it has a place. As long as you don't overuse it and just throw it in every now and
yeah.
then it's fine.
So not much change at the top, really, is it? I think that Nagari,
No, it's stabilised.
they seem to have sort of reasonably stable. And Muscat, he's passed the back markers as well himself, but again, isn't really making much headway now. They seem to have sort of, dare I say it, sort of staled off a little bit. So just over 9 minutes left of the race. Jonathan Watts back in fourth. He's managed to get himself away, so he seems pretty safe and sound back there.
Bit of space around him, and the next two cars back, Shelbanov, Whitburn. There's a bit of a tussle with Van Meerveld and Lucanen. That's probably our tightest situation at the moment.
Yeah, because obviously we saw Lucanen obviously drop back earlier in the race with that start-finish line issue. Don't know what that was.
Unknown incident.
David Rogers saying, hack all the things.
Yes.
Well, there you go. If he ever does really, really unexpectedly well, you know he's somehow managed to increase like his friction ratio or something on the tyres.
Well, if he does badly, he'll know that I've hacked him with a simple iPhone.
Yeah, that'll be why. Or if you do well, he'll accuse you of hacking.
Yeah. It's likely. I won't do well, though, so it's fine.
It's a win-win situation for him, really. If he does badly, he can say it was an experiment, and you know, if anyone else does well,
yeah, we were testing something.
Yeah,
we were testing a hack.
Yeah.
So the gap now up to 1.2 between Pitchuk and Nogueira. So the bleeding has been stabilised or stemmed, and he's managed to pull away a little bit. I mean, it's not comfortable by any means, especially at this stage of the race. But yeah. Only 7 minutes to go, 8 minutes to go rather, just under, and he might be able to extend. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with these guys.
I say quite luckily, I think the temps have all stayed incredibly stable. So luckily they're not having to deal with.
Still 27, I think.
Yeah, it's 23 degrees ambient, and then the track is 27. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly the same as it was when we started. So at least they haven't had to battle any changing sort of elements.
Having a little look at Lucanen and
yeah, that's who I've been on board with for a couple of minutes. They were really, really close at one point, and then Lucanen has dropped off ever so slightly. I'm not sure if he's able to close back up under braking, but at this point, last lap, there wasn't much between them. Right, in the chat, Lecker Vince, and we stand Vince. Okay, who is that? I should know that.
Vince Van Meerveld.
That's going to be Meerveld?
Our lad, yeah.
There is. Oh, he's the guy we've already got on screen. There was me looking through the list like, where is he? And he's already there. So car number 29 doing a pretty stellar effort of holding off Lucanen at the moment. Or Lucanen.
It's that Dutch contingent backing one another up in chat and on track.
Be interesting to see how long he can hold it off, because he's only got just over 6 minutes left. But this is when people get desperate. You know, it isn't like we saw with the 9-hour race.
A lap better, yeah.
Like there was that thing of, I've been racing for 9 hours, I don't want to get second or I don't want to get third, and you get really desperate and you just throw in some colossal move at the end, and it wasn't a series. But this is a series, so if you decide, oh, I'm just going to go for it,
absolutely,
and you know, make a bit of a risky move, you know, you're going to possibly mess it up for your next race, or you might lose points in the season.
I mean, there's 90 points for second, 100 for first. I mean, 90 points is a big haul, and you get that little silver tick next to your name. Yeah. There's no shame in it. So are you going to throw it up the inside for the sake of this? Maybe in the last race of the season, but we're 2 races in, and I think these guys, with the relative gaps they've got, might be happy where they are without trying too much to risk.
It's got to be said, when you say, obviously, this is the second race in the season, and obviously there might be some races that were in Tier 2 last season and in Tier 2 again, but everyone seems to be working out their driving styles pretty quickly. Nothing seems to be, you know, sort of after a couple of laps, no one's being taken by surprise, really, I don't think, at this point. So, you know, you're watching your cars in front, no one's suddenly going, oh my god, you're braking on the main straight, or oh my god, you're not braking at all. Everyone, oh, okay, the gap's closed up quite a bit in Sector 1, so, sorry chap, but Mirveld might be under attack. In fact, I think he is. Yes, oh, look at that. He gets run out slightly wide. Can Luukkonen get the cut back? Not quite. Looking over the rear wing now. And I think Luukkonen heard us saying he only had 5 minutes left, and he has really opened the taps. Oh, again in the braking zone.
I think these guys, you know, not protecting big halls or podiums, are perhaps going to be a little bit more interested in getting a bit higher up the finish listing. So, yeah, they could be taking a little bit more risks than the guys at the front.
Quite possibly. I mean, oh, these guys are close. But while these guys are battling, I think Borgodowski is closing up on the back of them ever so slightly. It looks like the McLaren...
4 minutes to make a move, though. Not at the time.
I don't think Borgodowski is going to have enough time. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there, I think, from Luukkonen. Oh, God, yeah. McLaren gets out the turns fantastically, doesn't it? So still looking over the rear wing, looking back. After that final turn onto the straight. Absolutely fantastic bit of driving from him there. Kept his cool when he was really being pushed. So now on the dash of Luukkonen as he chases after the back. Oh, bit of a mistake there on the exit of turn 2.
Gap also stable at the front.
Short shifting, trying to keep the power down. Very difficult not to over-rotate there. Just over 3 minutes left. Can Mirveld hold on to this position? Okay, let's just remove some things from the chat. Please, if anyone is seeing this, please ignore.
I think we had an attack like that yesterday.
Yes, I did hear something. I am removing them as we speak, so apologies if I'm not calling out something on screen.
No, you're all fine.
Nobody wants what they're selling.
We've opened up to about 2 seconds at the front of the race.
Okay.
And as I look back at Ritzburn, I can see that, yeah, battling. Van Meerveld, I don't see him, which worries me a bit. He's pulling a little bit ahead of Lackman. So that battle's cooled off a little bit now with 2 minutes to go to the end of the race.
Yeah, and I think the battle here as well with Luukkonen and Mirveld, I think Mirveld's sort of gone, oh god, I was really under attack, and he has, well, I don't know, he's found some second wind, I'm not even sure what you might call it, some inspiration, and he's managed to pull away a fair bit actually. That gap's opened up. I'm trying to see if there's any battles a bit further down. Obviously not much of the race left, and I don't want the same mistake that we made last time. I want to watch our pole man go across the line because we missed it last time.
Yes, he's 2.5 seconds ahead now, and it looks like Nagira's really backed off. He's under danger from Muscat now more than anything else. So Muscat only a second behind Nagira, so not sure what's happened there. Is it the tyre fall off that we saw at the end of the last stint?
Quite possibly.
Maybe so.
Oh, I'm on board with Voss and Mons is attacking the back of Voss. So this is Porsche versus McLaren. Couldn't think of the word for some reason. I was looking at it and just could not pronounce it. So this is car 222 versus car 468. And the battle for 10th place. So this is to get yourself in the top 10. Voss managing to hold on to it for the moment.
Drive-throughs for a lot of people now. Irish, Shivanov, Ivanov, all in the same places. Must have all followed each other over a curb or something. And they've all been dished out a drive-through penalty.
Oof, well, they're quite far down the grid, aren't they, those guys? So I wonder if they're just sort of...
Well, they are now.
Yeah. Well, I think they're outside the top 20 already, were they not? I think.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
I'm just trying to have a bit of a look. I can see Steinhauser, who obviously was our second place man last week, is all the way down in 20th place at the moment.
So Muscat actually in third, having a little look over Nagira's shoulder.
Oh,
So
yes, he
he's pushing
is.
for second.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Oh.
a big look. That's not a little look. That's I want that position. Oh, hang on. We need to go to pitch it, because is he about to cross the line? No, he's close to it. But this is going to be the final lap, I think, for these boys. This is it. They're not going to get another lap in after this. So if Muscat's going to make a move, and he looked again, he's working hard.
Fast corner. No, a little bit outside the line then.
Oh, tries to go around the outside. Is he going to try and get the switch back? Not quite.
Touch there?
I'm not sure if it was. I'm just quickly jumping on board with Pitchick, just so we can get him across the line. As soon as he crosses, we'll jump back, because those two are going to be on a sprint. Well done, Pitchick, coming across the line. Oh, and Gary.
And that's all she wrote, I think.
Yeah, he just manages to hold on to it, but there was nothing between them. Brilliant bit of driving by those guys. So, back to Shabalanov, who's going to be coming across the line in 4th place.
Well, congratulations to Bentley.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely dominated it. And Watts coming across the line in 5th, followed by Matt Whitburn. That's been a really good battle between those two for a lot of the race, actually.
Enjoyed that a lot, yeah.
Yeah, Mirveld manages to hold off Lucanen for the rest of that race. And we've got Borgodowski coming across the line in 9th. Voss and Mons absolutely neck and neck, but they managed... Voss just manages to hold on to that top 10 position. Big flash of the lights from him. Absolutely fantastic. So
let's hear it in the chat for Van Meerveld. The Van Meerveld posse in the chat. 7th. Great finish.
Yeah, that was a seriously good effort by them guys. I mean, and really well driven by everybody involved. Really, bit of a shame to see the two McLarens get together so early in the race. Bit of a shame. David Rogers.
Yeah.
Good race, great commentary, gents. Thank you very much. Massively appreciated.
Thanks, David. Really appreciate that. So Timothy, sorry to call you Timothy.
Oh.
Driver of the day for you. I mean, I just want to say that I chose Pitchick as my dark horse from practice, and I stuck my money on that. So I think he's my driver of the day, even though it's quite boring because he won.
Oof. Who am I going to put as my driver of the day? I mean, do I go with the fans in chat, and do I see Mirveld?
I think you do.
Because he did really well. It was a bit because obviously he qualified really well. At a bit, I think it was sort of like the first couple of laps. Obviously there were slight issues, but yeah, he manages to hold off some really good guys, and he was part of that amazing battle we saw. Sort of mid-pack for a long old time, so he definitely gave us plenty of stuff to watch the entire time.
I think Combativity Award is probably more appropriate for Van Meerveld. Combativity.
Right, let's see if we can convince some of the guys to come in. See if there's anyone stacking up for chats already. Let's have a look. Is anyone ready for an interview? No one ready for an interview quite yet. Come on, don't be shy.
They're just cooling off with their ice towels, and we'll give them a few minutes. It's been very hot in the Adriatic sunshine this evening, so I imagine they need to cool down a little bit. But feel free to jump into the ready for interview if you want to have a chat with us.
I was just posting in the game chat to let them know. Obviously, they probably might not even know that, because in-game I'm Tim Lunn, so not Timasorus. And I very much doubt you're Arcetuthis.
No. Well, I am a little bit. It's in my name somewhere.
So, is anyone going to jump in chat? Come on, don't be shy, gents.
I mean, we'd love to hear from the top 3, but really,
yeah,
anyone.
Anybody that fancies it coming on.
I'm just desperately trying to look where we're going next week. We are in Nürburgring in Germany next week, so one of my favoured tracks. I enjoy that. So again, it'll be interesting to see what the balance of power is like around that track, and which cars come out in that particular race. Obviously, McLarens and especially Bentleys has been the mode of the day today. But yeah,
I would be interested to see if we have such a sort of a dominant force next week from one particular brand. If I'm honest, I'd be quite surprised if we did see anything quite the same, as it's
I'd be interesting to see as well if we just have this sort of free for all in terms of who's scoring points as well. I mean, Pittick wasn't even involved in race one. Nigera, I don't think even came in the top 10 in race one as well. And Renoir was nowhere to be seen after that win. And Steinhauser as well was further down. And Rodriguez had a terrible day after that bronze finish in Kyalami. So it'd be interesting to see the championship after 2 races. I think the championship itself would be spread pretty wide open.
yeah. I mean, you think because people we had right at the very top, now right at the very bottom. So it's oh, have we got? We've got Muscat. I think we've got Muscat in one of the chats.
Muscat.
Let's drag him in. For some reason, my mouse just vanished off the face of the earth. Where have you gone? There it is. Right, we're going to drag him in with us. Come on in. Muscat, can you hear us?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Congratulations on your drive. How did you find it out there? You're one of our rookies this year, I believe, or at least new to AOR, correct?
Yeah, I am. I'm new to AOR. I'm happy to be here, by the way, guys. Thanks for this stream.
Happy
It
to
was
have
awesome.
No worries.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I struggle here, Misano, with track limit warnings, and this time I made sure that I won't get like 4, because I get a drive-through and I would ruin the race.
How many
But yeah,
did you
good
have
race,
by
I
the
think.
end? How many was it? Was it
No,
3?
just one.
Oh, just the one.
No,
Happy
no, just
days.
one. Yeah. Yeah, happy days. Of course, I was pushing at the end then, like to catch P2, but I just couldn't. Just only 1/10 shy.
Yeah, I mean, we saw towards the end of the race, especially that last sort of like 10 minutes, you sort of exploded with extra pace, and we were sort of quite sort of sat there at the edges of our chairs waiting and seeing if you were going to make it past, but
You
not
had a few
quite.
looks, yeah.
Yeah, not quite, but
Yeah,
amazing
I
effort.
tried. Yeah, I tried, but I had older tires than him, I think. So
Yes.
it was more difficult to overtake.
Yes, I think
Is it true what we were... Sorry.
No, carry on, go for it.
I was going to say, is it true what we were thinking about up here in the commentary box, where you're at the end of the race and you're in 3rd place, it's a podium. You're thinking, am I really going to push it that much extra for 2nd place? You saw you having a look on the last few corners of that last lap. I guess there's a point where you think to yourself, well, maybe this isn't worth it.
Well, I had only one track limit warning, so I went for it. I even at the last corner, I just cut it. I cut a lot of it, and I gained a lot on him at the last corner. So yeah, but it was worth a try, I think.
That's the difference between me and these guys, Tim. I think these guys are champions, and they're like, if they see a gap, they go for it. Whereas I see a gap, and I think, oh, I'll just stick with what I've got. So it's obviously what's got you to this sort of level, Sheldon. So that's terrific.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks.
One more quick question. We did have a little bit of a wonder.
Of
Obviously, you were driving one of the Bentleys. Did you find it was taking sort of about 3 or 4 laps to get the tyres really working in the Bentleys? Because we saw them off the pace at the beginning of the races, and then suddenly, about 4 or 5 laps in, they just had blistering pace compared to everything else. So, did you find it took a bit longer to get the tyres up to temp?
Well, it certainly takes definitely 2 laps to get the tires up to temperature and even pressures, and then you can push, and then you can really go fast here. It has very good race pace here, the Bentley. Like, I really like it here. But then it starts to drop 10 laps in, something like that. And then it starts coming back to you like 15 laps in, something like that. So yeah,
Okay.
that's why I think I was gaining on him on P2 at the last 5 minutes or so.
Well, your strategy obviously worked fantastically. Thank you very much for joining us here in the commentary box. As it turns out, you're the only one that was brave enough. So thank you ever so much for joining us. And obviously, everyone is welcome. We are going to have to call it a day now, I think. So thank you ever so much for joining us. And we're just going to close everything down. So thank you very much.
See you in Germany.
Before I go, guys, I would like to thank my team sponsors, GT Omega Racing, Gaming Malta, HyperX, and Well Pro Racing.
Cool.
Right.
Thank you very much, and good evening.
No worries. Cheers,
Thank you
dude.
very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Right, well, that, I think, went pretty well this time round. Great racing from everybody. So thank you ever so much for joining us again. Obviously, you're going to be joining us next week for round 3, I hope, at the Nürburgring. So, and you're still with me then, aren't you?
I am still with you. I'm still with you for that and the next race before we have the natural break, and then I'll be released into the wild.
Fantastic. And then you're taking on the end of the season, and I will be being joined by Cardinal Smith. So someone a bit different voice, but you've got to stick with me, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. I know it's a burden putting up with me for all that time, but thank you ever so much for joining us. We're going to call it a night now, and we shall see you next week.
Thank you too, Tim. Good night.